Welcome back to match 2 of the Pretoria Championships final top cut. This is the final match between Gavin Jones and Brian Murdoch. If you missed the first match, Brian's up 1-0 against Gavin Jones. Gavin didn't draw much other than lots of lightning energy, and Brian needed to bolt strike out his Excalibur, and there was no Pokemon on his bench, so the game was over. They've shuffled and we're in a bit of a rush because we're timed for the entire match, so there's no breaks or just let me go to the toilet quickly other than what I did in the beginning of the match. So they've looked like, okay, so both Brian and Gavin have got lots of basics, so we're not going to see a round 1 knockout on this. Gavin needs to win this game, and he's got a lot of time to do it in, so he's not pressured too much for time, so he can take his time and just try and beat the deck. Okay, so Gavin turns over and he's got Cobline and his Thundurus, and Brian's got his Mewtwo EX, Thundurus and the Dynamo. So right now it looks a little bit more in Brian's favour, but if he doesn't have any energy, but no, he's got a catcher and a double colourless. Gavin Great Balls and attaches an energy to his Cobline, so the Great Ball fetches him a Reshiram. Okay, we're off to a good start here. Thundurus, Reshiram and Cobline. I know I'm probably saying it wrong, but I see the line at the end of the word, so I go Cobline. I have been sent to pronunciation, but I just can't seem to get it right. It's how I remember it. Okay, there's another Great Ball. So Gavin gets to search the top 7 cards of his deck, and if he finds any Pokemon there, he's allowed to put it into his hand. Does he find anything? Can't see what he's found, and if he's just choosing to get it. I just see energies. Okay, he chooses not to take any of the Pokemon. It is his choice. He does not have to draw those cards. So 2 Great Balls down, and we've got a fairly good start here. I actually didn't know that Gavin had Reshiram in his deck and he was running some fire, but you know what, doesn't hurt. You can always put 1 lightning and 2 fire onto him and bring it out. Fire and lightning combination decks are not unheard of. Brian's just drawn a card. He's Pokemon catching something, the Reshiram. Oh bugger. So Reshiram's going to take the first knock. Mewtwo EX has got a double colour, so he can do his X Ball, which does 20 damage for each energy on Mewtwo and on Reshiram. So it'll do 40 damage at first, and then an N, which makes both players shuffle their hands into their decks and draw the number of prize cards that they have. Both players still have their 6 prize cards, so they'll both draw 6 brand new cards to carry on playing the game with. N's very good towards the late game, because if you're losing a game and the opponent has 2 prize cards, then you can always N, and then they're stuck with 2 cards. And then if you've got more prizes, there's a little bit of a if on the cut again. No, don't worry, Brian doesn't need to cut the deck. And Gavin's he's got a lightning, he's got metal energy, and I think there was another supporter in there, so if he's not happy with his hand, he can always just have it replaced. Brian does the X Ball for 40 damage on Reshiram, so if he's got a double colourless in there, then he can kick back on Mewtwo, but the double colourless will make it another 80 damage coming back when Mewtwo has a hit. So Mewtwo is a very, very dangerous card. He's up there, he's in front, he's powered up, and the more energy you put on your Pokemon, it actually adds to the damage that Mewtwo can deal out. Mewtwo is an EX, so if Gavin knocks out Mewtwo, then he will start off with 2 prizes, so that'll be pretty cool. He puts on a double colourless, so he's going for it. Here comes 60 damage to Mewtwo EX. Mewtwo EX has only got 170 damage. It's quite a lot for a basic. That's a Bianca to get up to 6 cards. But if Gavin gets it, then that's 2 prize cards, which is very good. That's a plus power on there as well, so that'll be 70 damage now. Okay, well done Gavin, 70 damage. So Mewtwo is now down to a small little 100 damage, but now Mewtwo can hit back and do 80 damage, which will leave Reshiram on 120. So I'm sure Brian's looking for a plus power. There's a level ball to search for something, but he's not searching. Brian, why are you not searching for something? He had the electric in his hand and he evolved Dynamo into electric. He's got another DC in his hand. Oh, there we go. Okay, so he played the DC and then he goes and searches the deck. He should actually search the deck first. We'll have words with him. Okay, finds another Dynamo to put it down on the deck, just in case Mewtwo EX gets knocked out for some reason, and then Dynamo can come up with an easy retreat. Dynamo works out quite nicely, because if something gets knocked out, and then you want to bring something else out, you can put Dynamo up there, charge it with Electric's Dynamotor, fetching electric energy from the discard pile, and then have a free retreat. So, okay, X-Ball there for 6 damage, so it's 120 on top of his 40, so 160 damage to 130 HP Pokemon makes him knocked out. I draw my first prize, so Brian's in the lead again with 5 prizes to 6. Gavin's got another Carablast in there. Oh, stop hiding your cards from the camera. We just want to see what you have. He's got an Energy Search, a Lightning Energy, a Metal Energy, and the last card I'm not too sure about. But he's going to do an Energy Search, look for the right energy that he needs. Well, he had both, so I'm not too sure why he did that. It's always wise when there's ends in the play to use your trainers at the last possible moment when you really need them. So this trainer is an item trainer. You can use it any time. It's not restricted by supporters. And if he's got the energy already in his hand, rather use that. Because if his end now, the trainer's in the discard pile, the energy gets put back into the deck again. So it's all a waste if it gets end. So you just kind of hold on to those until you really, really need them. Here again, he's using Professor Elm's new training method to look for an evolution. Corviknight and Thundurus don't have evolutions, so he's getting his electric. Does he need to show it? He didn't show it to me. I don't know if Professor Elm's new training method needs you to show it. If someone finds that out, they can put it into the comments so everybody else can find out. So I didn't see the electric, but obviously with all these wonderful searches and then not seeing them come down, it'd be very wise if Brian just plays an N to make all of that worthless and then just put it all back into the deck. Let's see what happens now. Gavin is going to Metal Horns. Metal Horns makes me swap out the active Pokemon with a bench Pokemon. So he's doing that so the Dynamo can come up. It's not really too much of an issue. There we go. There goes a Zekrom down. And Brian has got the 2 Lightning Energies in his hand. And then 2 trainers. I wonder if they're plus powers or what they are. Okay, Lightning Energy on Zekrom. Mewtwo EX is rather charged up. He doesn't need the extra charge. So he goes up with Corviknight's 2 energies. Mewtwo's 2 double colorless energies. And a plus power that knocks out Corviknight for his 110 damage, I think it is. Yeah. So lots of damage coming out from Mewtwo EX. So if that wasn't a plus power, then Brian does have another plus power in his hand, so he can do exactly the same story again. So if Thundurus goes and puts on a lightning energy and then charges, there'll be another 2 energies, so that can equal to another 120 damage. Thundurus only has 110, so the plus power is not even needed. There we go, there's the plus power in Brian's hand. Not looking so good for Gavin. He hasn't really got his setup out. He hasn't got out his electric. Thank goodness Brian didn't end last. Oh, but still Brian's turn. There's another plus power. So that's 100 damage plus power, 110, knocks out a Thundurus. And before that, let's just end and make all those cards like I was saying. Gavin got all those cards, and then I just end and make him shuffle them all back into his deck. There Yaku's trying to tidy up the board and take away the plus power, and I tell him not to, because the plus power was played before the N, so you do a lot of stuff and then you forget that the plus power was played, and then you don't do that extra 10 damage, which will be rather silly. So generally I like to leave my plus powers out next to the active and the supporter. It's always good to do that because you can only play one supporter at a time. So if you just put that supporter out, you just know, hold on, I have played that supporter. especially if it's a heavy thinking game and you're trying to concentrate, or if you're under pressure and you don't want to make mistakes, because mistakes will have the judge giving you warnings and notices. You might lose prize cards. Hell, you might even lose the whole game if you make a mistake that's really bad. I've just seen someone recently in some of the games. That's the Professor Juniper. So Gavin's not happy with his hand. He's going to throw it away and draw another 7. Professor Juniper works actually quite nicely with electric, because you can actually throw away lightning energies and then just dynamote them out with electric, so you can actually drop 2 energies at a time. And Excalibur is out there. I think he's just going to be some cannon fodder while Gavin tries to set up his bench again. But yeah, as far as serious errors is concerned, I saw a high-pressured game online and I was watching it, and the guy was actually so nervous and he kept on looking through his discard pile because he could use some of the stuff in his discard pile with Junk Arm, and he by accident shuffled his entire discard pile into the deck. It was an accident, but he lost prize cards. That was the penalty for doing that, because it was an irreversible mistake and he lost the game. So it's you need to be careful with what you're doing. It could be a mistake, but unfortunately mistakes can cost you the game. So let's just try and focus on those things. I couldn't get up the last card, so I just tapped it with my hands and it stuck to my fingers and I put it on. Gavin does an energy search, which he could have done before he shuffled, but it's good to follow the procedures, give it a good shuffle during the game. Brian is 1-0 up on this game, so if Brian wins this, then that'll be the end, and Brian Murdoch will be the winner of the Pretoria Championships. It's not looking so good for Gavin, but he's getting there. He's got some energy in his hand. He's got some good Pokemon in his bench. Maybe he can get through this. The Mewtwo EX block. Mewtwo EX has got an interesting weakness. Mewtwo EX is weak to itself. It's Psychic is its weakness. Add an extra energy onto Zekrom there. Another electric out. So a Mewtwo EX versus a Mewtwo EX, the first one to get the strike off is generally the winner. They both need double colorless for the X ball, so that turns out to be 80 damage, but 80 damage times 2 is 160. So 1 plus power and it's tickets. Okay, so Mewtwo does his X ball again for 110, for 100, and Excalibur is only 90, so that just knocks him out. Gavin's putting energy on Calberline. I don't know why, because all that's going to do is fuel the fire. Maybe he should have put it on Thunderous and come out there swinging, so to speak. I don't see how he was going to save that energy or even make it last long enough. Maybe he has already given up. But let's see how it goes. Maybe things turn around. Mewtwo EX is strong, but it can be killed. So that was a level ball, looking for another Dynamo. So Mewtwo's now got 4 energies on him, plus the energy on Calberline, so that makes it 5, so that's 100 damage a shot. Actually, not 4 energies, it's 2 double colorless and 2 lightning energies. So that's 6 energies on Mewtwo EX, with the 7th on Calberline, so that's outputting 140. Unless he's got a couple of Everlights stashed underneath those cards, that Calberline's going to be dead. Let's see. Brian does another Professor Oak's new theory. Looks like there's nothing interesting in his hand. He doesn't even want to show it to the camera. Just looks at it. Oh, that's rubbish. Put it back down again. Okay, there we go. A communication and a couple other things. So Mewtwo does an X-Ball once again. He gets that prize. Oh, there we go. And Gavin concedes. So Brian has just won the Pretoria Championships. Brian is the champion in Pretoria, coming from Joburg. Well done, Brian.